We've just walked up from the town there. So that's, sorry, the village, Spot Village. This is just 10 minutes walk from where I was, but I didn't have enough batteries to take you with me. I have about 10% left. So we're just coming up on the Witch's Stone here. So at this site stood a big tree. Well, I'm guessing it was big. If you want to hang people, it has to have pretty strong branches. I'm just being shown it just now. And it was tall, as much as 60 foot tall. I feel like it was an oak tree. I could be wrong. I'm not great with trees, even if it was in this physical reality. And let's go and see these beautiful memorials that people leave. So let me read this sign. It says, "The stone has become a place to commemorate those local people who are persecuted as witches. We cannot undo the hurt, but we can let their souls go free." That's so beautiful. And I also want to show you this beautiful area just here. These trees that run across here are like a little forest, and it's really beautiful. Whenever I go there, I'm shown how people would go down by the river that just runs in front of the trees, and they do healing work. And it took a moment just to walk away and to walk back to the Witch's Stone here. And what I'd like to do is, and just put myself on camera, and just to say that all the souls that choose to let go now and to move on to the light, to move on to other areas, can do so now. We call in the light of Source down into our hearts and surround ourselves with golden bubbles of protective light. We ground our light cords into the core of Mother Earth. We call in Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Haniel, Source and Gaia, and we command any energies or entities that do not have the highest good in their intentions for those that live here, for ourselves or anyone else in this area. They must leave immediately. And we send love to heal this land, to heal every living thing on this day, at this time. And as we walk back towards the town, we invite these souls to return. It's a really beautiful feeling. I did this same practice around a year ago, and there were souls that just weren't ready to move on. And now there's much more of a calm and a release. There's an excitement for Halloween coming up in just a couple of days. It's the Saturday before Halloween, but at the same time, there's a happiness to let go. And where does all that bitterness and pain and that torture, where does that energy transmute to? Well, it transmutes into the hearts of us now as love, as excitement, as empowerment, healing our witch wounds, everything that we ever fought for in our lives, everything that our ancestors have fought for, come together now, healing our throat chakras, our solar plexus, the sacral chakras, every aspect of us that needs healing at this time. We bring in this empowerment, we bring in this love, so that we can speak our truth, so that we can recall this ancient knowledge that we have forgotten over time of how to work with the land, with the plants, the trees and the birds and the animals, with the energies of the land, and to connect up into the highest good of all, so that we can bring forth the healing that this planet needs. And the healing starts within our hearts. We are grateful for our ancestors and everything they have ever done. We are so grateful for all that they fought for. We thank you, we forgive you, and we love you. And we celebrate your lives and your hardships to help this planet be free once more and to step into a new reality of love, compassion, equality, and forgiveness. Thank you. We love you. Okay, and this is Spot Village Hall. It is the place that I had my awakening in November 2017. I came here for a Kundalini yoga session, and I saw the formation of the planets and stars and all the energies flowing between them, the magical experience. I didn't realize at the time, how much significance this whole area would be for me. And it was a really magical time. I just started meditating every day since then. I feel like I've meditated more times since then than I've written songs, and I've written over 2,002 or 300 songs. So it's really beautiful coming back here, and then having our little van called Minnie parked next to it. And over here, if I can persuade Patch to join us, come on, Patch. Over here, so just to give you a sense of direction, just to the left of that big tree is the area that we were just at. So that's where Dunbar town is, that you can see in the distance. And I want to come along to this church because from what I hear, this is also the location of where those that hunted witches back in the 1600s and earlier, 1700s and earlier, that they were buried here. So there's always an energy here, for sure. I mean, there's an energy everywhere, but there's like a darkness as well as the light. So I just wanted to share. This is Spot Parish Church. It's beautiful. It's like time just stands still here. I won't walk around in graveyards. I don't really like, filming them up close and taking you too deep in. But I'll just show you from outside. It feels more respectful to everybody. And also, this is a small village, and so the people that live here are, often descendants or relatives of those that are buried here, and it's important to acknowledge that, to respect them, no matter which side of light and dark and everything in between you exist. And look at that beautiful sunshine just appearing. It's so gorgeous. So hopefully this is working. I'm trying to power my phone at the same time. I'm not sure how much power I'll have. It's a little walk now. I want to take you to the Witch's Stone, which I can explain a little bit about, which is that there used to be a tree at the site of the Witch's Stone, and that is where the witches would be hung. And I didn't realize until recently that they actually made it illegal to be a witch. There were several laws relating to it, including cooperating with a witch, and any kind of what was seen as like ungodly kind of natural remedies or healing. Hey, it's Jon Binnie, and I'm here at the beautiful location of just next to Spot Village and also Dunbar, which is the town that I live in. And let me take you on a bit of a journey through space and time. Bring the camera around. It's a really beautiful area. So over to the left here beyond those trees into the distance, we have Edinburgh, and that's the capital city of Scotland. The Law Hill, which is an extinct volcano. The Bass Rock, which is also an extinct volcano. And we have you see a few little ships there, and then the May Island, just dead center. It has like a little, I think like a golf course and a couple of abandoned lighthouses on it. And then there's the town of Dunbar, all the trees. And I wanted to share with you a beautiful journey I went on. My first Akashic Records adventure was, and excuse the wind, was to this area. So I was shown, it feels like a couple of hundred years ago, and I should really ask for the exact date. It was like the 1700s. And this area that I'm in, which is like at the top of the hill, which is also, if I flip you around once more, right where a standing stone is. So if you look at this place here, let me zoom you right in. Let's see if we can see it. So yeah, there's a standing stone. It's quite tall. If you walk up to it, it's maybe, I think, about 10 feet high. And it's in a line directly on this road heading all the way up towards Haddington, nearby town. That direction anyway. So this is like a waterworks. I don't know, like a water treatment works, and it's really old. There's a plaque, like a bronze plaque around the other side, and it talks of when it was first opened, something 1800 something. So yeah, it's really interesting. I don't know what's in there, but it was recently redone in the last 10 years to look like this, at least on the outside. I don't know what work they did on the inside. I should find out what's inside. Anyway, this particular area of this field, this corner of the field that you're looking at, this was what I was shown in my Akashic Records reading. I say a reading, at the time I was taking part in a group session where we were all visiting our past lives, and shown a past life of me as a woman, as a healer, and her name was Trinity. And Trinity's job, her superpower, was to sit here, to live here in this area. And there was underground right here was a crystal cave. And this crystal cave is like a hub, or like a junction for the energetic grid of this planet, and also this area. And what was really powerful about it is that she would take people down, I would take people down to the cave for healing. I also want to show you Doon Hill, so excuse that, but I have to show you Doon Hill. This is it here. And it also has like a kind of cairn on the top. It's at the top there. And let's zoom back out. Try not to get you too much wind. So yeah, there was this beautiful crystal cave underneath, and Trinity would do a lot of work in the area to heal people. She was also like a kind of an elder, an oracle. She would advise on crops and planting, and being able to help people have children, help with physical healing. Many of the gifts I have now in this lifetime, including things like chakra healing, past life regression, helping people, activate their own spiritual gifts, which is really beautiful. So I came here to honor Trinity, to thank her for coming into my life at this time and bringing me continually. She brings me back to this really beautiful location. And although I can no longer go underground and see the crystal cave, like she's just showing me an image of it now, it's quite large, and it has like lots of little hidden pockets little corners to it, and there's a lot of quartz in there, she's saying, but there's also a different variety. And she said she would often find, the longer she spent there, the more she would find, often digging with her own hands to reveal more crystals. And she said that it's not only limited to here, like this is kind of the corner of certainly this field, and then out beyond is a whole like, I don't know how you describe it in geological terms, but like a bank of crystal. So that's really beautiful. She also showed how very sadly she was hunted and eventually killed, and she hid in her cave under here, and was eventually caught and killed. And she said there was, towards the end of her life, there were people that were engaging with, she describes it as dark magic, but it was like the dark arts, like they were working with elemental energies, which aren't, good or bad, or they're just everything in between, but they were yielding power that they didn't understand, and to intervene and to stop them, but they didn't listen to her, and eventually she was, her making a stand was eventually no longer tolerated, and they killed her very sadly. So thank you, Trinity, for your service to humanity and everything you did for the planet and for the grid here. I also want to share this really powerful experience I had where I was, it's about a month ago now, maybe just over a month ago. And this is also the area that I run up every morning. I run from the town down there. I run from the town and I run up this road and I come up this road here, and the road runs up past the treatment work and into Spot Village, which I'll show later. On that run, I was being shown that there was, and I run at 5 a.m. in the morning, so there's like lots of stars, and that's really beautiful. But I was being shown that there is this giant, and by giant I mean huge negative entity, like a demonic entity that sits. Now, I think this is why Patch is taking us up here. That lays under the ground here, or did, and it's in energetic form, so it's not physical. Definitely physical in the fourth dimension. But if I flip the camera around again, a little bit of a sense of perspective. So right up, it lay right up here, and if we look straight ahead, like down there towards that house and into the fields, is what's called the killing fields. And the killing fields are where, and I think it's the 1600s, maybe, well, certainly between 14 and 1600s, there were many battles fought and lost, and it's also where Scotland has arguably lost its independence. And so for all the souls that battled in those battles and lost their lives, their bodies would fall to the ground, and they would end their lives in very miserable, like, torment, because they were losing their life and they're in a losing battle. So their souls, for many of them, left this, really horrible energy, and that energy was then transferred into the ground. And so this demonic entity, I saw like lots of little ones would go around the battlefields and kind of scoop up all the energy, but they would also feed this larger entity, and it sat under here. It sat all under these fields and under this field and the surrounding area, and it got so large. I mean, it must have been about 10 miles. And if I was able to go up there and show you past the trees up there, it would go that far. So they, my guides were showing me as I saw this entity, they were saying, oh, when Trinity was alive, and then these other, how do you describe it? witches or healers, or both. Eventually, these negative, or those that practice the dark arts, began working with this large negative entity, and that was really a pretty horrible time for the area, because they yielded great power, and they yielded that power. It really enhanced this negative entity enhanced their gifts and abilities. Isn't it interesting to see this big dark cloud here? It's just formed. Because what I'm about to say, and so I worked this was on my morning run. I worked with Archangel Michael, and I thought it was a really powerful message that he shared, which is size is not important. Size does not matter when it comes to battle. If you know dogs, for example, like small dogs like Patch, a lot of big dogs are really scared of him, because a little dog can bite the throat of a large dog, and so they're just as dangerous as a large dog, if not often more dangerous to a large dog. Which is really funny. It's not how us humans often think. And so Archangel Michael was just saying, look, I must show you this plane's doing some stunts. Think about it this way. He said, everyone has the right to decide in the area that they live what is welcome there and what is not. And collectively, that's like a gunshot. And collectively, it's also important to make those decisions. And so together, like I brought my light sword out and my shield, and together we hit our gunshots in two different directions. It's probably farmers or hunters. So yeah, we removed this giant entity, and we removed it from the land and took it up to source. And as we did, there was this message. Now, Archangel Michael was saying to me, look, it's gone. It's definitely gone. They said, look in the sky, look for it in the sky. And I'm sure after I did it, when I got home, I was looking out from the garden of our house, and I could see this huge dark cloud, and it was over towards this area. Like the whole sky was just filled with darkness. And then look, here we are again with this this out of place, long, dark cloud. So to recap so far, I had a past life here, at least one in this direct area, and there was a very large negative entity here that eventually others started working with, and that entity has now been removed. So there we are. Now let's go and see the witch's stone.